Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Rampage from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. To open the show, we had a Owen Hart Foundation Tournament men's qualifier. Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. Whoever wins here joins Elite Company, as both the women's and men's tournaments are filling up quickly with some of the top talent. These two have the ability to surprise people and win matches in ways others can't even think of. They waste no time going at it as both men reverse the other, and seems to be a level of respect between them. I can't even describe what Swerve just did as he flipped out of the ring and lands on his feet right into the waiting Darby, but Swerve returns the favor, hitting a flying knee as Darby goes over the top rope. They are stopping at nothing, just trying to get the win here as Swerve wrenches on the head and neck of Darby. Swerve then takes Darby from the mat up to a German suplex in one motion. It was very, very nice. Swerve then goes for the Swerve Stomp, but his knee gave out when Darby dodged it. So Darby takes advantage and he sets up for the coffin drop, but Swerve gets the knees up and hits a big kick that gets a near fall. Swerve then hits another German suplex to the outside this time, and this causes Ricky Starks to leave commentary because he doesn't want Swerve to win. He goes at Swerve, but Sting gets in the way and makes sure Ricky won't spoil this awesome match. In the ring, Darby ties up Swerve's legs and rolls him up for the win, talking about how you can just get a win from anywhere with these two. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. These two really killed it in the opening match, and AEW does amazing with their opening matches as always. We then get Shawn Spears talking about the man who will face Wardlow. Says he's 7 feet tall and he is faster and stronger. Says he has faced him. Shawn Spears says he faced this man before, and I mean, obviously, if we are to be playing stupid, we don't know who that is, but we're not. We know who that is. That is W. Morrissey or Big Cass in WWE. He is coming, and that is going to be an epic match. He talks about this guy having pinnacle potential, and that now that Spears is not in Wardlow's corner, has his back, he's screwed. For my WTR scale, I gave that a good. I'm enjoying this storyline. Jericho then talks about what he did to Kingston and saying he knows exactly what a hit is, and then says they will eliminate them one by one. For his actions on Wednesday, he gives himself the Sports Entertainer of the Week, which I was expecting that to happen way sooner than it did. When, from out of nowhere, Santana and Ortiz jump Jericho on commentary. I should say it's more just Santana than it is Ortiz. Ortiz was just guarding Santana with a mallet, so the JAS couldn't come and get them. They were then separated by backstage officials, which Ortiz would not swing a mallet at. Respect for that, because that's not a good idea. You would lose your job, typically. Jericho, after commercial, says he talked with Tony Khan, and now he and Santana have a match. And I am looking forward to it. I don't know if they said specifically when. I might be next week, but I'm not sure. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. We then get a trios set of debuts, I guess, because I don't think either one of these teams has ever trioed before. We get the baddies, Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan, who made a very synchronized entrance, and it oddly made me like them a little more. It sounds weird, but them being really synced, really together, really like on the same page, I like it. I still am not a fan of Jade, but there is something about the way this is developing that isn't awful. And I'm not saying Jade's been awful, but I just am not a fan of her. Like I was just saying, now that Jade has some girls to either take a beating for her or cheat to help her win, in her singles matches, we're likely to see some longer matches like how Britt has developed with Jamie Hayter and Rebel. This is a very good thing for top heels and stuff like that. It's not necessarily all going to be the same because we obviously run different gimmicks different ways and whatever. I'm just enjoying the fact that we are developing Jade's character more so than I was expecting. The baddies start taking control right away. Red and Kiara control for most of the match until Willow stops them in their tracks, but it's only for a moment. They beat down, I believe it was Trish Adora, when they set up Jade to come in and finish it. Jade hits a big pump kick that she was just handed, and then she hits Jaded on Trish Adora as Red and Kiara take out Sky and Willow. For my WTR scale, I gave this a good. Like I said, this seems to be trending in the right direction for Red Velvet, Kiara Hogan, and Jade Cargill. I'm still not a fan of how we just casually turned Red Velvet heel after she'd been doing this face run against Layla Hirsch with Statlander. It just seems like that seemed a little out of place, but they've moved on nicely from it, and it's just kind of like Jade talked to her about how good she looks, and yeah. So this is a stable that is starting to work for me, and it almost seems like they might be detaching themselves a little bit from Smart Mark, but I don't know for sure. I didn't see him at ringside with them today. Darby and Swerve talk about their match, and Darby says that isn't how he wanted it to go, and says if they wanted to go another 5, they can. Swerve says no, he's rooting for Darby to win the whole damn thing, because now he has more unfinished business with Team Taz, and he's going to get his boy Keith Lee to help him out. For my WTR scale, I gave it a good. And speaking of Lee, Keith Lee takes on Colton Gunn, and credit to Colton, he tries to lock up with Lee and even tries to back him down, but it's Keith Lee. He's a mountain of a man. And, Colton knows this, and he tries to best him using his speed, but he forgets he's crazy fast too. He slips away from Colton and starts to control the pace, and Austin causes the distraction. Even though Lee could sense it, the numbers did catch up to him, and he's dumped outside. Colton and Austin try to stop him, but back in the ring, Lee explodes out of the corner and stops Colton dead in his tracks. He tosses Colton around the ring, and Austin moves Colton, and then is taken out himself, and Colton goes for the Famouser, but Lee catches him and slams him down for the win. For my WTR scale, I gave this good. That was a very good match, and pretty much exactly what you would expect when you see Colton Gunn versus Keith Lee. We then get Jeff Hardy talking about his upcoming match against Bobby Fish, and about all of his potential matches once he wins that match, because that is a Owen Hart tournament qualifier. He says he is going to win that and is excited to be going solo in AEW for the first time. Matt says there's no way for Bobby to beat Jeff on Wednesday. The Undisputed Elite answer right away, mocking the Hardys, and Cole says it doesn't make sense what Matt said. Jeff doesn't stand a chance when Bobby wins, and when Bobby wins, 3 members of the Undisputed Elite will be in the Owen Cup, and that means they will win for sure. My WTR scale, I think this is great. If I had to guess, Bobby loses, and that pisses off the Elite and whatever, and if I had to guess, that's what's going to happen. And Jeff joined this tournament. I'm excited for that because I love me some Jeff Hardy. We then get Danhausen making his way to the ring, and he is sick of Hook running around without repercussions. So now he is here to take him out. Calls to send Hook. Hook comes out, and he gets right in Danhausen's face, and they make... and then says... Danhausen says to do this another time, but Hooks wants to do it right now. Smart Mark Sterling comes out and asks if anyone really wants to see this match. The crowd goes nuts. Tony Nese then jumps both men and takes out Danhausen, but Hook tosses both Smart Mark and Tony around the ring. Danhausen tries to curse them and thinks he did, but Hook was standing right behind him, and as the fans are chanting Hookhausen. It's very interesting. I wonder if we're going to maybe get a tag team out of this. Danhausen then tries to shake Hook's hand, and Hook grabs him and mutters something to him. Clearly, we are far from done here. I have a feeling, just by the way the crowd reacted to this, we may be working towards a tag team here, which I'm very much excited for. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. Colton talks about his first pinfall lost, but it's also his first singles match in AEW. The Acclaim come in and asks if they want to join them, and says they're undefeated as a four-way or something like that. They're going to say they need to talk to their dad first, which I thought was hilarious. For my WTR scale, I gave it a good. Mercedes Martinez talks about winning the Ring of Honor Interim Women's World Championship, and on May 4th, she says she will become the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. For my WTR scale, I gave that a good as well. Mark Henry then talks about the main event contenders. Joe says this is where Ring of Honor was born, and tonight he will make Trent pass out before he walks out champion. Trent says he won't be getting killed tonight because he's used to being the underdog. For my WTR scale, I gave that a good as well. We then get our main event of the evening, the Ring of Honor World Television Championship versus Samoa Joe defending against Trent Beretta. Joe is one of the most dominant competitors in the world. They adhere to the code of honor right away, and we start this match. Joe starts to work over Trent, quickly wearing him down in the corner. Trent then uses his speed to dodge and dive and hit one of his own. He then starts to take control of Joe, chopping him outside of the ring. Joe, though, comes back and makes Trent pay, smashing him with everything. Joe is wearing Trent down with submissions and chops. Trent, from out of nowhere, hits another switch and then sends Joe out, and then to the top rope, where he dives onto Joe. Trent then in the ring hits a back throw followed by a tornado DDT for a near fall. Trent has to keep up on Joe here, and it doesn't work as Joe catches him in a power bomb and into the STF, and then an armbar. Trent then gets to the ropes. Joe sets up in the muscle buster position, but Trent slips out, so Joe hits the corner Uranagi that I'm such a fan of, and locks in the sleeper for the win. After the match, the code of honor is adhered to, so we have both sides of the code of honor done. After the match, then Tony Schiavone interviews Joe, and they are interrupted right away by Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh. They make their way to the ring, and Orange Cassidy walks up to Satnam, and it's a hilarious visual. He does his little shtick thing, and Lethal jumps them, and we start this brawl as AEW goes off the air. I love this. They did this back when the Inner Circle was first becoming a thing, brawls to go off the air. I really loved when AEW was doing that, and I hope we're going to be getting some more stories that involve stuff like this. My WTR scale, I gave this a great. My overall for this show is a good. They did very well to build this show. All things worked really well. It felt like a Dynamite in a Rampage. Like, that's how much they packed into this. My segment of the night goes to Hookhausen. I want that to be a tag team. I think that'll work. That'll be hilarious. Hook doing all the beating down and Danhausen thinking he's top shit, whatever. It'd be great. Match of the night goes to Swerve and Darby. They killed it. Opening match, just absolutely bonkers. And the performers of the night is Joe and Trent. I think their match was fantastic, and they really showed off that in that match. It was very, very well done. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.